Welcome to Bible Quiz Champions. Today we're diving into Old Testament narratives. Join us as we test your knowledge with 10 exciting questions. You can answer by typing A, B, C or D in the comments. And here with me is my assistant Sarah. Ready, Sarah?
I'm excited to be here, Alex.
Question 1. What was the special ability that God gave to Solomon? A. Strength. B. Wisdom. C. Prophecy. D. Healing. Solomon was young when he became king. His dad was King David, a famous ruler. Solomon needed something special to lead well. One night he had a dream. In the dream, God asked him what he wanted. Solomon thought carefully. He didn't ask for a long life or riches. He wanted something more important to help the people he ruled. God was pleased with his answer. This gift made Solomon known far and wide. People came from all over to see him and learn from him. His reign was marked by peace and prosperity because of this special ability. Time is up. Let us see the answer. Over to you, Sarah.
The answer is B. Wisdom. This question highlights Solomon's unique gift, a powerful theme in his story. Wow, fantastic job, everyone. We have a 100% accuracy rate today. Impressive. Keep up the great work, and let's dive into the next question.
Thank you, Sarah. Let's move on to the next question. Question 2. Who was recognized for his strength, which he lost after his hair was cut off? A. Samson. B. King Saul. C. Moses. D. Elijah. This guy was super strong. Everyone knew about it. People couldn't figure out why he was so strong. Then this person fell in love with someone who wanted to find out his secret. She asked him a few times and he finally told her. It was all about his hair. Cutting it would make him weak. One night, while he was asleep, she cut his hair off. When he woke up, his strength was gone. He couldn't fight back anymore. This change was huge. He had been unbeatable before, but now he was just like any other person. Time is up. Let us see the answer. Over to you, Sarah.
The answer is A. Samson. This story of strength and vulnerability is well known, and many might remember the key detail about his hair. It looks like we didn't have any responses for this question, but that's okay. Remember, every question is a chance to learn and grow together. Let's keep the spirit up and move on to the next one. Madhu Kadalshan. Make sure to check the question carefully before answering.
Thank you, Sarah. Next question. Question 3. What did God create on the third day of creation? A. Land and vegetation. B. Sun and moon. C. Sea creatures and birds. D. Man and woman. The third day of creation was a big one. Before that day, the world was mostly water. No solid ground to walk on. God decided it was time for a change. He gathered the waters to one place. That made dry land appear. Imagine that. Suddenly there was a place to stand. But that wasn't all. The land needed something more, so God added life to the ground. Things began to grow all over the place. This was important for everything that came next. The world was starting to take shape. What would happen on the days that followed? Time is up. Let us see the answer. Over to you, Sarah.
The answer is B. Sun and moon. Creation's details often inspire wonder, and this question focuses on a pivotal moment. It looks like we had a quiet round this time, with no responses for the question. That's perfectly okay. Let's keep the momentum going and see what our next question holds.
Thank you, Sarah. On to the next question. Question 4. Who was made by God from Adam's rib? A. Eve. B. Sarah. C. Rachel. D. Rebecca. In the beginning there was a man living in a special garden. This garden was full of plants and animals. God saw that this man needed a companion, so he caused the man to sleep deeply. During this time God took a bone from his side. He used it to create a helper for the man. When this new person was introduced, the man was happy. He knew this person was part of him. Together they lived in the garden and took care of everything there. This person was the first woman made to be with the first man. Time is up. Let us see the answer. Over to you, Sarah.
The answer is A. Eve. This detail of creation is foundational in the narrative of humanity's beginnings. It looks like we had a moment of silence on this question, with no one chiming in. That's okay. Trivia can be tricky sometimes. Let's keep that energy up and move on to the next question. At Madukadalshan8710 asked, how big is the Bible? The Bible varies in size depending on the edition, but a typical printed Bible is around 1,000 to 1,500 pages long. Remember, it's not just the size that matters, but the wisdom and love contained within those pages.
Thank you, Sarah. Let's go to the next question. Question 5. What unusual feature did the Ark of the Covenant have on top? And 2 cherubim facing each other. B. A golden cross. C. A burning bush. D. A pair of stone tablets. The Ark of the Covenant was special in many ways. It was made of acacia wood and covered in gold. It was kept in the innermost part of the tabernacle, a sacred space. Only the high priest could go near it, and only once a year. The Ark was built during the time of Moses, around 1400 BC. It held 3 important items inside. This was where God's presence was said to dwell. People believed it brought victories in battles. The top of the Ark had something unique that symbolized its sacredness. Any guesses on what that might have been? Time is up. Let us see the answer. Over to you, Sarah.
The answer is B, a golden cross. This unique feature makes the Ark of the Covenant a fascinating topic. It looks like we didn't have any responses for this question. That's okay. There's always the next one. Let's keep the spirit high and move on to the next question.
Thank you, Sarah. Moving on to the next question. Question 6. What did Joshua and the Israelites do to make the walls of Jericho fall down? A. They marched around them 7 times. B. They used a giant battering ram. C. They dug a tunnel underneath them. D. They scaled them with ladders. Jericho was a powerful city. It had big walls, and those walls were strong. The people inside felt safe and secure. Joshua and the Israelites needed to get inside the city. They had just crossed the Jordan River, and Jericho was their first big challenge. But the walls were a problem. Attacking them head-on would have been tough. They didn't have any special machines to break the walls. Instead, Joshua got some unusual instructions. Everyone did what they were told, though it might have seemed odd at first. And somehow it worked. The walls came down. Curious how? Think about what they might have done together. Time is up. Let us see the answer. Over to you, Sarah.
The answer is A. They marched around them 7 times. This action-packed event is a memorable part of Joshua's story. It looks like nobody answered this question, but that's okay. Don't worry, there's always another chance to dive into God's Word. Let's keep the momentum going and move on to the next question.
Thank you, Sarah. Next question coming up. Question 7. What was the name of the giant defeated by a young David with a stone and sling? A. Goliath. B. Samson. C. Balaam. D. Nebuchadnezzar. A giant stood over 9 feet tall in the valley of Elah. His armor was heavy and intimidating. He challenged the Israelite army every day. Nobody dared to fight him. They were terrified for 40 days. Then a young shepherd stepped up. He wasn't a soldier. He brought food for his brothers who were in the army. But when he heard the giant's challenge, he wanted to take a stand. This shepherd didn't wear armor. He didn't use a sword. Instead, he picked up a sling and 5 smooth stones from a stream. Who was this young hero who faced the giant? Time is up. Let us see the answer. Over to you, Sarah.
The answer is A. Goliath. David's encounter with this giant is a timeless story of courage. It looks like no one answered this question, but that's okay. Just keep that spirit of learning alive as we move on to the next one. Let's see how well you do with our next trivia question.
Thank you, Sarah. Let's move to the next question. Question 8. What did Noah send out from the ark first to see if the floodwaters had receded? A dove, B, a raven, C, a sparrow, D, an eagle. The ark had been floating for a long time. Noah and his family were waiting for the floodwaters to go down. They couldn't see much from inside. To find out if the water had receded, Noah decided to send out a bird. This bird could fly far and see if there was any dry land. People back then often used birds to send messages. So sending out a bird was a smart choice. He released this bird from an open window and watched where it went. What do you think? What bird did Noah send out first? Time is up. Let us see the answer. Over to you, Sarah.
The answer is B, a raven. This detail adds depth to Noah's story and the journey of the ark. It looks like no one had a chance to answer this question. That's all right. There's always another opportunity to test your knowledge. Let's keep going and see what the next question has in store for us.
Thank you, Sarah. On to the next question. Question 9. What was on the other side of the River Jordan that the Israelites were promised? A. The Promised Land. B. The City of Jerusalem. C. The Garden of Eden. D. The Land of Canaan. The Israelites had been wandering in the desert for 40 years. They were finally near the end of their journey. On the other side of the River Jordan, there was something very important waiting for them. The leader who took them this far couldn't go with them all the way. This meant a new leader had to step up and guide the people. The Israelites knew that across the river was the place they had hoped for. But first they had to trust and follow instructions to get there. What awaited them was a land they had been promised long ago. Time is up. Let us see the answer. Over to you, Sarah.
The answer is B, the City of Jerusalem. This promise was central to the Israelites' journey. It looks like we had a quiet moment with this question, as no one answered. That's okay. Sometimes these questions can be tough. Let's keep going and see what the next one has in store for us.
Thank you, Sarah. Let's proceed to the final question. Question 10. What was the first thing that God created in the beginning? A. The earth. B. Light. C. Animals. D. Man. In the beginning, there was nothing. It was like a blank canvas. Not even blank because there wasn't any canvas at all. Just emptiness. Then God kicked off creation. Imagine standing in total darkness with no sounds, shapes, or anything. That's how it started. God made the first thing happen out of nothing. This was the start of everything else that followed. Soon, other things like the sky, seas, and land would come to be. But it all had to start somewhere. That first amazing act set the stage for everything else we know. What do you think it was? Time is up. Let us see the answer. Over to you, Sarah.
The answer is B, light. This fundamental act of creation sets the stage for all that follows. It looks like we didn't have any responses for this question, but that's okay. Every question is a chance to learn, and I'm so glad you're here with us. Let's keep the momentum going and move on to the next one.
Thank you, Sarah. Sarah, how did everyone do?
Thanks, Alex. Let me pull up the scoreboard. What an incredible game we had today. A big congratulations to Maduka Doshan for securing the top spot with 10 points. Thank you all for joining, and I hope to see you next time for more fun and fellowship in our Bible trivia.
Thank you, Sarah, for the scoreboard update. Thank you for joining us on Bible Quiz Champions. We hope you enjoyed the quiz. Don't forget to subscribe for more fun and learning. Welcome to Bible Quiz Champions. Today we're diving into the miracles and supernatural events in the Bible. Joining me is my assistant Sarah. Remember, type A, B, C or D in the comments to answer. Ready, Sarah?
Absolutely, Alex. I'm excited to get started.
Question 1. What did Jesus turn into wine at the wedding in Cana? A. Bread, B. Water, C. Fish, D. Olive oil. There was a wedding in Cana, a small town in Galilee. Weddings back then lasted several days, not just one. Guests would eat and drink the whole time. Now it's embarrassing if you run out of supplies at a wedding. Back then it was even worse. At this wedding, they ran out of something important. Jesus was there and someone told him about the problem. His mum, Mary, seemed to believe he could do something special. So Jesus stepped in. He used large stone jars that were usually for washing. What he did next amazed everyone at the party. Time is up. Let us see the answer. Over to you, Sarah.
The answer is B, water. This miracle at the wedding in Cana is a favorite, showcasing the joy of celebration. It looks like no one got this one right, but that's okay. Every question is a chance to learn together, and I know you all are doing your best. Let's keep the momentum going and move on to the next question.
Thank you, Sarah. Let's move on to the next question. Question 2. What happened to Lazarus in a well-known Bible story? A. He was raised from the dead. B. He parted the Red Sea. C. He survived in a lion's den. D. He walked on water. Lazarus lived in a town called Bethany. He was really close to Jesus. They were good friends. One day Lazarus got very sick. His sisters Mary and Martha were worried. They sent a message to Jesus hoping he would come quickly. But Jesus didn't rush back. He waited a bit longer. While he was away, Lazarus died. When Jesus finally got to Bethany, Lazarus had already been in the tomb for 4 days. The sisters were sad and confused. Why didn't Jesus come sooner to heal him? The scene that unfolded next was something no one expected. That is it, Sarah. Reveal the results.
The answer is B. He parted the Red Sea. This powerful miracle is central to the Exodus story. It looks like no one answered this question correctly. That's okay. Keep up the great work, and let's dive into the next one.
Thanks for that, Sarah. On to the next question. Question 3. What happened when Jesus fed the 5,000 people? A. He turned a few loaves and fish into enough food for everyone. B. He asked the crowd to share their food. C. He prayed and food rained from heaven. D. He gave everyone a small piece of bread and they were all satisfied. A big crowd gathered to hear Jesus teach. It was a remote area and people were getting hungry. The disciples were worried about how to feed everyone. They had a little food, just a few loaves and fish. It seemed impossible to feed such a large crowd with so little. But then something amazing happened. Everyone ate and was satisfied, and they even had leftovers. People were amazed because it didn't seem like there was nearly enough food. This event showed that something special was happening. People were starting to see how unique Jesus was and what he could do. Time is up. Sarah, what do we have?
The answer is A. He turned a few loaves and fish into enough food for everyone. This miracle teaches us about abundance. Wow! It looks like no one answered this question correctly. But that's okay. We're here to learn and have fun together. So let's keep the momentum going.
Thank you, Sarah. Next question, please. Question 4. What miracle did Moses perform at Marah? A. Parted the Red Sea. B. Turned bitter water into sweet. C. Brought water from a rock. D. Called down manna from heaven. Moses led the Israelites out of Egypt. They had just crossed the Red Sea and were in the desert. There they faced a big problem. They couldn't find good water to drink. The only water they found was bitter. They needed clean water to survive. The people started to worry and complain. They were in a tough spot and tempers were high. Then something amazing happened that changed everything. It showed the people that they could trust their leader and reminded them of their faith. What did Moses do at that moment to solve the problem at Marah? That is it. Over to you, Sarah.
The answer is B, turned bitter water into sweet, a great reminder of God's provision in tough times. Well, it looks like nobody answered correctly this time, but that's okay. It's all part of the fun, and there's always more questions ahead. Keep that spirit up, everyone.
Thanks again, Sarah. Let's continue with the next question. Question 5. What happened to Jonah as a result of disobedience to God's command? A. He was swallowed by a great fish. B. He was thrown into a fiery furnace. C. He was turned into a pillar of salt. D. His staff turned into a snake. Jonah had a tough choice. God told him to go to a big city and deliver a message, but he didn't want to. So instead of listening, he decided to run away. He got on a ship going the opposite direction, but the sea became wild. The sailors were scared and thought they would sink. They figured someone must be the cause of the storm. Jonah confessed it was him. He was the one not following God's plan. He had to face the consequences. The sailors reluctantly did what Jonah suggested to calm the storm, but that's not where Jonah's story ends. Time is up. Sarah, what's the answer?
The answer is A. He was swallowed by a great fish, a dramatic turn of events in Jonah's story. Well, it looks like no one answered this one correctly. That's perfectly okay. Keep up the great effort, and let's dive into the next question together.
Thank you, Sarah. On to the next question. Question 6. What happened to the Israelites' food every day in the wilderness? A. It fell from the sky. B. It multiplied in their sacks. C. It turned to honey. D. It was provided by angels. Every day in the wilderness was an adventure for the Israelites. Imagine waking up each morning and wondering how you'll get your food. No grocery stores, no farms. They were in a desert, so food was a real worry. Here's the surprising part. Every single day, without fail, something happened that made sure they had enough to eat. It was as if a clockwork miracle took place, meeting their needs in the most unexpected way. For 40 years, this daily occurrence kept them going. What was it that happened to their food each day? That's the quiz question. That is it. Sarah, reveal the results.
The answer is A. It fell from the sky. God's daily provision for the Israelites is a beloved story. Wow, it looks like we didn't have any correct answers for this question. That's perfectly okay. Keep that spirit up, and let's dive into the next one.
Thanks, Sarah. Moving on to the next question. Question 7. What did Jesus do for a man at the pool of Bethesda? A. Fed him 5,000 loaves of bread. B. Healed him of his infirmity. C. Turned water into wine. D. Saved him from a lion's den. The pool of Bethesda was a special place in Jerusalem. It had 5 covered porches, and lots of people gathered there because they believed the waters could heal them. A man had been there for many years. He couldn't walk and was hoping to be healed. One day Jesus came to the pool. He saw the man lying there and knew he'd been like that for a long time. Instead of waiting for the water to move, Jesus asked the man if he wanted to get well. What happened next surprised everyone around. It was a moment they wouldn't forget. Time is up. Over to you, Sarah.
The answer is B. Healed him of his infirmity. A touching story of compassion and healing. Wow, it looks like nobody answered this question correctly. That's okay. Don't be discouraged. There's always more opportunities to shine in the next round.
Thank you, Sarah. Next question, please. Question 8. What did Jesus say to calm the storm when he and his disciples were on a boat? A. Peace, be still. Go away, storms. Winds, obey me. D. Stop, waves. Jesus and his friends were on a boat in a big lake. Suddenly a huge storm hit. Waves crashed over the sides and the boat started filling with water. The friends were scared and thought they were going to die. But Jesus was asleep on a cushion in the back of the boat. They woke him up, panicking. They asked him if he cared that they might drown. Jesus got up and spoke to the storm, and then the wind stopped. The sea was calm again. The friends were amazed and wondered who this person could be that nature obeyed him. That is it, Sarah. What's the answer?
The answer is A. Peace, be still. A moment of great authority over nature by Jesus. Wow. It looks like nobody got this one right. That's okay. We're here to learn together and have fun. Let's keep the spirit going as we move on to the next question.
Thanks, Sarah. Let's continue with the next question. Question 9. What happened when Jesus met the Samaritan woman at the well? A. He told her about her past. B. He asked her for water. C. He invited her to follow him. D. He performed a miracle. Jesus met a Samaritan woman at a well around noon. This was in a place called Samaria, where Jews didn't usually hang out. Jews and Samaritans didn't get along. People normally drew water in the morning or evening, so seeing someone at noon was odd. Jesus was traveling and stopped at the well because he was tired. His disciples had gone to get food. He started talking with the woman, which surprised her. Men didn't usually speak privately with women in public back then. Jesus and the woman had a deep conversation. It changed her life and the lives of many others. Time is up. Sarah, what did they choose?
The answer is A. He told her about her past, a powerful encounter that changed her life. It looks like no one answered this question correctly. That's okay. Keep that spirit up and let's dive into the next one together. You're all doing great.
Thank you, Sarah. On to the final question. Question 10. What supernatural event happened when Moses struck a rock at Horeb? A. The rock produced honey. B. The rock gushed out water. C. The rock turned into a snake. D. The rock split in two. Moses led the people of Israel through the desert. They were thirsty and upset. In the desert, there aren't a lot of places to find water. They came to a place called Horeb. There's a big rock there. God told Moses to strike it with his staff. This was a special staff that Moses had used before. The people were watching closely. They were hoping for a miracle. They knew Moses had done amazing things in the past. The question was, what would happen this time when he struck the rock? Would their thirst finally be satisfied? That is it. Over to you, Sarah.
The answer is B. The rock gushed out water. A miraculous provision in the desert. It looks like nobody got this one right. That's totally okay though. Let's keep the spirit high and move on to the next question.
Thanks for that, Sarah. Sarah, how did everyone score?
Thanks, Alex. Let's check the leaderboard. What a wonderful time we had today. I want to encourage everyone to join in next time so we can see some scores on the leaderboard. Keep studying, and I look forward to seeing you all back here.
Thank you, Sarah, for the update. Thanks for joining us on Bible Quiz Champions. We hope you enjoyed the quiz. Don't forget to subscribe for more fun and learning. Welcome to Bible Quiz Champions. Tonight, we're diving into the lives of famous Bible characters. Join us as we test your knowledge and learn together. My assistant Sarah is here to help. Remember to type A, B, C, or D in the comments. Ready, Sarah?
I'm so excited, Alex. Let's get started.
Question 1. Who was turned into a pillar of salt for looking back at the city of Sodom and Gomorrah? A. Sarah. B. Lot's wife. C. Ruth. D. Esther. This person lived in a city with a bad reputation. Things were so bad that God planned to destroy it. The city's people didn't follow God's ways. This person and their family had to leave quickly. They were told not to look back. That was the one rule. Just keep moving forward, no turning back. But here's the twist. Someone in the group did turn around. And in that moment, everything changed. Instead of escaping with the others, this person faced a strange and sudden fate. What happened next became a famous story that people still talk about today. Time is up. Let us see the answer. Over to you, Sarah.
The answer is B. Lot's wife. This question references a well-known story of looking back at Sodom and Gomorrah, a powerful lesson in obedience. It looks like no one answered this question, but that's okay. It's all part of the fun of learning together. Let's keep moving forward. Here comes the next question.
Thank you, Sarah. Let's move to question 2. Question 2. Who built an ark at God's command to survive a great flood? A. King David. B. Noah. C. Moses. D. Abraham. This person built a massive boat when God said a flood was coming. Imagine being told to make a boat big enough to fit your family and animals from all over. The people around probably thought it was crazy. They were living in a land that didn't see a lot of rain, and building something so big took years. This was a time with no power tools or cranes, just simple tools. Following God's command took a lot of trust. When the rain finally came, it was more than just a few days. It was enough to cover everything. Wonder who this brave builder was? That is it, Sarah. Reveal the results.
The answer is B. Noah. This is a beloved story of faith and perseverance amidst a great flood. It looks like we had no winners for this question, but that's okay. Just remember, every question is a chance to learn and grow. Let's keep the spirit high and move on to the next one.
Thank you, Sarah. On to question 3. Question 3. Who interpreted Pharaoh's dreams of 7 fat and 7 lean cows? A. Moses. B. Joseph. C. Adam. D. Nebuchadnezzar. There was a guy in Egypt who could explain dreams. The most powerful man in the land, the Pharaoh, had some really strange ones. There were cows in his dream. Some were big and healthy, and others were skinny and weak. Nobody in Egypt could tell him what it meant. This guy, who was good at dream stuff, got called in. He didn't just guess, he had a special skill. He told Pharaoh that the dreams were super important. They were about things that would happen soon in Egypt. People would need to get ready for it. Want to know who this dream expert was? Time is up. Let us see the answer. Over to you, Sarah.
The answer is B. Joseph. This question highlights his gift of interpretation during a pivotal moment in Egyptian history. It looks like no one answered this question, but that's perfectly okay. We're here to learn and grow together. Let's keep the spirit up and move on to the next question.
Thank you, Sarah. Next question, please. Question 4. Who was swallowed by a big fish after fleeing from God's command? A. Noah. B. Jonah. C. Moses. D. David. This person got a mission from God but decided to run the other way. He hopped on a ship thinking he could hide. Not a wise move. Soon a huge storm hit and the sailors were scared. They figured out the storm was because of this runaway. So they tossed him overboard, hoping to calm the sea, and it worked. But instead of drowning, this guy got swallowed by a big fish. He stayed inside for days, thinking and praying. It was like a time out to reconsider his choices. Eventually, he got another chance to set things right. Who could it be? That is it. Sarah, reveal the results.
The answer is B. Jonah. This story is well known for its themes of disobedience and redemption. It looks like we didn't have any answers for this question, but that's perfectly okay. Remember, every moment is a chance to learn and grow. Let's keep the energy up and move on to the next question.
Thank you, Sarah. Let's keep going with question 5. Question 5. Who led the Israelites across the Red Sea to escape from Egypt? A. Joshua. B. Moses. Samuel. D. Elijah. This person grew up in a palace in Egypt but was an Egyptian. That's a strange start, huh? Well, later on he became a shepherd in the desert. Then things got wild. This person got a special mission to lead people out of Egypt. There was this moment. A huge sea was in the way and the people had nowhere to go. The army was coming up behind them. Everyone was scared, but this leader knew what to do. The sea opened up, making a path right through the middle. They walked across on dry ground. Pretty amazing escape, right? Time is up. Let us see the answer. Over to you, Sarah.
The answer is B. Moses, a significant figure who played a central role in leading his people to freedom. It looks like no one answered this question. That's okay. Sometimes these trivia questions can be tricky, but I'm glad you're here to give it a shot. Let's keep going and see what the next question brings.
Thank you, Sarah. Moving on to question 6. Question 6. Who was sold into slavery by his jealous brothers? A. Judas. B. Joseph. C. Moses. D. Samson. Once there was a young man with a special coat. He had dreams that made his brothers mad. They were so mad that they wanted to get rid of him. They found a way to do it when he came to check on them one day. Instead of doing something terrible, they decided to sell him. This was no small decision. He was taken far away to a new land. Life changed a lot for him after that. He faced many challenges but stayed strong. Years later, he became very important in this new place and helped many people. That is it. Sarah, reveal the results.
The answer is B. Joseph. This highlights the challenges he faced due to jealousy and betrayal from his brothers. It looks like no one answered this question, but that's okay. We're here to learn and grow together, and I appreciate your participation. Let's keep moving forward with another question.
Thank you, Sarah. Onward to question 7. Question 7. Who found a baby in a basket among the reeds along the bank of the Nile River? A. Pharaoh's daughter. B. Sarah. C. Delilah. D. Jezebel. A small basket floated among the reeds by the Nile River. Inside was a baby just a few months old. This was in Egypt a long time ago, during the time when Pharaoh ruled. The baby was hidden because Pharaoh had ordered that all Hebrew baby boys be killed. The mother hoped the river would carry him to safety. Instead, someone found him and decided to keep him. This person saved his life. The child would grow up to be a leader who changed history. Who was it that found him? That's the big question in this story. Time is up. Let us see the answer. Over to you, Sarah.
The answer is B. Sarah. A touching story of finding and caring for an infant who would grow up to be a leader. It looks like no one answered this question, but that's okay. Every moment is an opportunity to learn. Let's keep the energy up and move on to the next question.
Thank you, Sarah. Let's go to question 8. Question 8. Who was chosen by God to lead the Israelites out of Egypt? A. Abraham. B. Moses. C. Noah. D. David. A man once lived in Egypt but didn't belong there. He was raised in the palace but was not an Egyptian. One day he saw something wrong and tried to fix it, but things went bad. So he ran away and lived in the desert. Years passed and he started a new life there. Then out of nowhere he saw a bush on fire that didn't burn up. A voice spoke to him and gave him a big job. He was probably surprised and maybe scared. This was the start of a journey to rescue many people. Who could this be? That is it. Sarah, reveal the results.
The answer is B, Moses. Another critical moment in the history of the Israelites and their journey. It looks like no one answered this question, but that's okay. There's always more opportunities to learn and grow together. Let's keep the spirit high as we move on to the next question.
Thank you, Sarah. On to question 9. Question 9. Who killed a giant with a single stone from his sling? A. David. B. Samson. C. Moses. D. Abraham. This happened in ancient Israel. There was a huge battle between the Israelites and the Philistines. The Philistines had a giant warrior. He was over 9 feet tall and wore heavy armor. None of the Israelite soldiers wanted to fight him. They were too scared. The giant shouted at them every day for 40 days, daring someone to challenge him. Then a young shepherd came forward. He wasn't a soldier, just a shepherd, but he bravely stepped up to fight the giant. And from his sling, he did something incredible. Can you guess who this brave person was? Time is up. Let us see the answer. Over to you, Sarah.
The answer is A, David. This story showcases the courage and faith of a young shepherd. It looks like we didn't have any winners for this question, and that's perfectly okay. Sometimes these questions can be tough, but let's keep that spirit up and move on to the next one.
Thank you, Sarah. Last question, here we go. Question 10. Who was visited by a stranger and offered his only son Isaac as a sacrifice to God? A. Abraham. B. Jacob. C. Job. D. Samson. This person lived in the land called Canaan. One day a stranger visited with a message from God. This message was a big test. It wasn't easy to hear. This person was told to offer his only son as a sacrifice. Imagine the shock and confusion. The son, born when this person was already very old, was deeply loved. But for this person, following God's will was very important. They traveled to a mountain for this task. It was a tough journey. Just as they were about to make the sacrifice, something incredible happened that changed everything. That is it, Sarah. Reveal the results.
The answer is A, Abraham. This profound moment marks a significant test of faith and obedience. Well, it looks like this one stumped everyone, as there were no winners this time. But don't worry, it's all part of the fun of learning together. Let's keep that spirit up and dive into the next question.
Thank you, Sarah. Sarah, how did everyone do?
Thanks, Alex. Let me pull up the scoreboard. Well, everyone, it looks like we don't have any participants on the leaderboard this time. Remember, your chance to shine will come again. So I encourage you to jump in next time and show off your Bible knowledge. Can't wait to see your names up there.
Thank you, Sarah, for that update. Thank you for joining us on Bible Quiz Champions. We hope you had fun. Don't forget to subscribe for more quizzes. See you next time.